Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Scorpio channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Scorpio. Know that energy is fluid, rules could be reversed. Always interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also, know on this channel, I like to dive deep within the readings. So I do look at everything, but we take time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, see how they play out as karmic themes. This will allow you to understand why everything's happening the way that it is. You gotta I feel like I need to jazz that beginning up a little bit, you know? You get tired of saying the same thing every day, but you have to say it, especially on this channel, because this channel is different. This channel has a therapy style to it because it's not so much about what your person's going to do, though we do always want to see what they're going to do because there's an ego part of self. But it's more about why are they doing what they're doing? What's the point of a relationship that never gets off the ground? What's the point of a relationship that you can feel the person's energy on you, but nothing's happening? What's the point of a relationship that does nothing but trigger you or keep you in a place of sadness? Or feeling as if you're not capable of having love, or every time you get into a relationship, life begins to get topsy-turvy, right? So it's like we want to know the deeper reasons on why, because it's all about integrating the shadow aspects of yourself. So a lot of times we have to go back to the inner child to figure out what where those spiritual blocks came from. And the spiritual block is just psychological and emotional energy. It's held in the body as stress. So everywhere where we have a chakra, we have an endocrine gland, and those endocrine glands represent psychological and emotional aspects of ourselves. So when you are overcompensating or undercompensating in a particular area of life, then or you just have an abundance of, well, overcompensating would mean an abundance of energy, right? Too much thought energy, too much thought emotion, and too much thoughts create too much emotions, which create overstimulation. So the nervous system is actually connected to your endocrine system as well as your chakras, right? Because your chakras are in the place of those endocrine glands. So psychological and emotional imbalances eventually create physical imbalances. So anxiety and depression don't just happen. They happen because, again, there's an imbalance within that first chakra. Having reproductive issues or prostate issues, bladder issues, lower back issues, hip problems. It's all pretty much the same psychological and emotional imbalance that we can't go with the flow. We tend to be very creative. We're a tight ass. That's what that means. The hips are tight, right? Why? Because we can't go with the flow. Why? Because again, we've gone through experiences that have traumatized us and we are stuck in a limited perception of ourselves or the situation at hand, but it's imbalanced. And our habits and behaviorisms begin to become in alignment with those imbalances and not with what's actually happening. So it begins to become very difficult to manifest. Then we feel as if something's wrong with us, where really there's nothing wrong with us. God made us perfect. It's that there's many different realities that play at one time. So understanding why things are the way that they are allows you to shape shift your energy, allows you to avoid negative karma. It allows you to cut psychic cords. Really important, especially when you have somebody's energy that's like leached onto you, but they don't give anything, but you always feel them on you. And you still have an emotional connection to them for whatever reason, most likely because you can't figure out how to cut the psychic cord, you know, um, everything's lessons. Everything's lessons to help bring you back to the higher self, the God part of self, the deity part of self. That part of self is of unconditional love. That part of self is the energy of the universe. That is the energy of unconditional love. So we tend to, again, get stuck. Now, if ever you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you'll have to obviously subscribe to the channel because I've been saying winner but a lot of people do not cash in on their reading. I don't know whether they have not subscribed to the channel. You have to like the video, subscribe to the channel, write the word of the video in your comment bar. You obviously have to be open to getting a shadow reading because part of your reading is going to be a shadow reading. Because if you are drawn to this channel, it's because, hey, there are just certain things in my life that aren't working. And this relationship might be one of them, you know? That's usually the first thing that we tend to notice. We can deal with a job that we're like, I'm not really satisfied. It's not my sole purpose, but it's a paycheck. We can tend to become complacent about certain other things in our life. But once you heal your blocks, your entire life gets better, not just one area gets better. That's the beauty of it. So the word of the video is always on the first card that I pull out, and it's the underlining energy that tells me why everyone's doing what they're doing. Oh, I have a little agita. I made myself some coffee this morning, and it's that Twix coffee that you get in the back of Marshall, so it's really sweet. Well, it's like repeating on me. It's like I needed a jolt this morning. You don't want to get out of bed when it's cold out, right? And I think it's maybe 69 degrees here in St. Augustine, and I know everyone else is like 69 degrees, but that's cold for me. I'm like an old lady. All right, the word in the video is release attentive repressive nature. So it's almost like holding on to a cognitive dissonance. I want this person, but I don't want them. It's like I feel the need to control. Um, and controlling is sometimes when we repress. So I feel like you're in connection with someone that is repressing themselves from coming towards you. I feel like you are also like repressing yourself, but both of you have a lot of attention focused on each other. So nothing's moving. So you want to know why you feel this person, but this person isn't doing anything. You have a soul connection with this person. It's a spiritual connection. ESP through the heart and mind, we all have it. But if you're a highly sensitive person, you really do have it. And I feel like you really have it. And this person really does have it. But you both like want the connection, but don't want the connection. And we've been getting that a lot lately. It's almost like because it's been going on too long. It's like it's too long at this point. It's like no one's made a move. It's like you're more disgusted. This person's aggravated. They're aggravated with themselves more than they're aggravated with you, though they're not going to show you that. And it's because they haven't even changed in the way that they've dealt with this connection. And I feel like you're like, I can't even change the connection because this person doesn't give me enough to work with. And so there's just this energy, like almost like this person for a long time just expected you to take what little bit they gave and pretended that there wasn't anything wrong, though that they knew that there was. And so they didn't do anything. And then you, like, I feel like we're waiting for this person to do the right thing, but they didn't do the right thing. So, but neither one of you have taken your focus off of each other. So let's see again how you got triggered or how this person got triggered. Let's see what comes up. Trapped. I feel like this person has a major commitment issue. They have commitment issues. I feel like any time that they get into a relationship, they feel trapped. And it's because they don't really know who they are. They tend to get lost in the relationship. So it's almost like this person has only gone from relationship to relationship to relationship. They never really discovered themselves. Now, that might have been because they grew up in a family that told them who to be, or again, a community that tried to influence this person. So they weren't really strong enough and they didn't set appropriate boundaries while they were growing up to go out to explore what they wanted to do. Sometimes we need to do that. We need to, we need to reparent ourselves. So we need to set the boundary with our parents. otherwise that parent puts a lot of influence on that child. So it could be happening from that, but they get into a relationship and they lose themselves because they don't have an identity. So then what happens is they go from one extreme, like the perfect person, the perfect lover, the perfect boyfriend, girlfriend, the perfect everything that does everything that you want them to do, which if you had a fantasy, that would be like if you were with a woman, you wanted them to cook, you wanted them to clean, you wanted them to look hot for you every day, you wanted to have sex every day, you wanted to, like, they become everything that you want them to be. And if it's a guy, it's the same thing, just whatever your pleasures are, whatever your desires are, that they take you out to dinner every night, shower you with gifts and emotional support. Well, they do all that. And then what happens is they go to the other extreme. So they go from one extreme to another extreme. So because they feel trapped, because what they're saying is it's like, now I'm expected to do it. See, it's the one thing when you want to do it, and I feel like this person's insecure, so they come into the relationship and they be everything you want them to be. They're like the perfect person. But then, like I said, that's not really who they are. And then they feel trapped. They feel trapped in the relationship. They feel like they don't have an identity. But that's the trauma that they grew up with, is what I'm really feeling. And I only say that because people just don't get commitment issues. They get commitment issues when they feel as if someone is dominating their life, that someone dominated their life. So that's an overbearing mother, that's an overbearing father, that's somebody that is continuously projecting opinions onto them to the point that they begin to think that those opinions are their opinions. And then what happens is that I feel like you felt like I'm not I'm not getting what I need, so I'm not going to give you any like emotional support. And this person got tired of like the dry spell. So it's like they have commitment issues, but they focus too much on the physical aspect, you know? And I knew that it was going to be this person's triggers because I feel like you're like, I don't really know what happened. I didn't really do anything. I'm waiting for this person to come back and apologize to me. So when we look at traumas, we say, okay, so what was this person thinking? And unless we go back to the original trauma, you would think that it was something to have to do with you because this person is saying, well, I'm not getting any like emotional. It's like I'm tired of the dry spells. Well, emotionally, if you're not being acknowledged and you don't feel safe, it's your way of telling this person to do better. And this person then doesn't do better. They go more into themselves. They isolate then. They emotionally cut off even more. So what happens is it's like it diminishes the intimacy, and intimacy at its basic level is trust. So again, we can see from a lack of individuality, which by the way is that second chakra, we find a lack of balance. So they go from one extreme to another, which triggers the people that they're always with to abandonment. And because they feel abandoned, well, then emotionally they're not going to open up. They're not going to give anything physical. That's the way that people like shut down. And it's almost like this person then thinks it's a way that you're trying to dominate the relationship, when meanwhile they're trying to dominate the relationship. So it's almost like you see the cognitive dissonance of the actual push and pull, like almost like you're both in a tug of war. And you're both in a tug of war of being like, I want to be with you, but I don't want to be with you the way that you want me to be with you. And so what happens is it's that there's a lot of projection, there's a lot of manipulation, which is what you feel. It's like, but there's a lot of mirroring. And this person is trying to dominate because when they don't get what they want, like I said, they go back inside of themselves. They ignore you. So it's like because the person otherwise feels like you're dominating them because of a regular relationship, and that's because they don't have enough of an identity. That's really what I feel. And your identity is not just your job, it's not just your family. It's where do you lose your time, your energy, your focus, and your money that's connected not to another person, but to something that you love to do. It could be anything that you love to do. It could be a hobby, it's an interest, it's something that you're passionate about. It could be a cause, it could be anything. It's anything that you're feeding that grows. And what it see is that this person doesn't have anything. So they haven't discovered what that is. It doesn't mean that they haven't had hobbies and interests along the way, but when it's our passion, it never dies. It may evolve, it may change. It does usually change because your path is an unfoldment process that's you're being led by your passion. So you're giving and receiving of love through your free will, and that's it, the path opens. You're not looking in advance at the end structure that you might have like a vision of what you perceive that you want it to look like, but very rarely does it look like that end result. But it's always a better match for you because the universe always knows what you want more than you know what you want. The whole control that's going on in this connection, because that's what you see. You see two people that do have feelings, but no one's moving, and there's just like this blocked energy. And even the whole time that you were in a connection with this person, it would never got off the ground because it was just a tug of war of no, I want things my way. No, I want things my way. And so you were like not just logically needing to strategize, but you intuitively, it brought you back to a place of you like needed to tap into your higher self, your intuition to feel like you weren't going to get tricked. And so you don't feel safe. And this person, same thing. It's like a cat and mouse game instead of, you know, being able to be safe and transparent and vulnerable. So we can see like it creates a lot of anxiety. It creates a lot of stress. And it's almost like this person likes that energy. They like to be put in that energy. And then when a person grew up in survival mode, they can become very addicted to the adrenaline, from living in survival mode. There's that fight, flight, freeze. Your body releases hormones. And this person gets addicted. So I feel like they have reckless behavior, they have addictions. They don't really want a commitment because there's a part of this person that that wants to stay at a low vibration, okay? They want to stay at a low vibration. They still want to do all the fucked up things that they do that feed their ego to make themselves feel better because they don't really know how to heal. And it feels bad for them. They're insecure, like I said, and that's what happens when a person has a lot of spiritual blocks. It's like, are they walking around saying, I'm insecure, I'm insecure? No, the ego is not saying that at all. If anything, the ego is going to be self-righteous. It's going to, but you're going to notice it within the person's behaviorisms and how they act towards you, how they act towards anybody, that they have to form a real intimate connection. And intimate connection means that you have to be vulnerable. You have to have compassion. You have to move into the higher levels of consciousness that are derived from unconditional love. You have to forgive. You have to be able to communicate. This person doesn't want to do any of that. That's the issue. It's almost like they want the relationship that is only like surface. Which even if this person was having sex with you every day, you would feel like you were ignored because they're not giving you what you need on an emotional level. So of course you shut down. And then there's expectations where if there's a soul connection and there is a lot of like passion, normally, like if that's how you met, then was an expectation on this person that you would want to be, that this would be the most perfect connection because there's so much passion. But it's not because they ruin the passion. They have intimacy issues. It ruins the intimacy within the connection because they're not giving anything. They're not going deep enough. So they don't understand why, and they continue to do stuff like this within their relationship. So they would feel really insecure within a relationship if every time they get into a relationship they feel trapped. Then they're not being transparent. They're not giving it 100% because they already feel like it's not going to work out. And here it is, you have expectations of what a soul connection could be, and it could be, but this person's all blocked up. It's the and like I said, they withdraw. They don't want to talk about their issues. So this is what it was like to be with this person. It never got off the ground. It was push pull, and now it's still push pull, but the energy is just in now in like the 5D, right? And it's not grounded. It's not in the 3D anymore. It's like it's but that ESP is through the heart and mind. This is a past life karmic mate. So I'm feeling like you just would like, I'm not gonna fall for whatever this is that you're trying to do because you didn't feel safe. I want to see what they think. Swept away, caught up in the romance, or clearing out emotions. See, it's almost like they wanted to have a fling. Like there's a part of this person, like I said, that gets caught up in the romance part. They want to, like the fantasy part. They see you as that. That's a past life soulmate. They have instantaneous connection. There's a lot of passion. But this person needs to be cleared, cleared of those spiritual blocks that make them not be able to go on a deep connection and really think that a one-sided connection is fair. No one wants to be in a one-sided connection. So this person wanted to like get swept up. They wanted to come in and charm you. They wanted you to charm them. They wanted it to be like no commitment, just like a fling, like just something that, and that's what you felt. But they still want that. It's like because they still feel that passion. So they're also like not in a place where I feel like they're entertaining anyone right now. And I also feel like they have been with so many people that there's a sense that it's almost like the sex is sex after a while because there's no emotion, there's no anything. So it's almost like the fact that you and this person have not, and that's not because they were like, oh, look, I really admire that trait that you're holding back from me. No, it was more like they just thought eventually you'd cave and you never did cave. It's like, so there is such a strong ESP connection. There's a past life connection. There's a lot of passion. This person is very attracted to you. They want that passion. It's like that's what they hold on to. Otherwise, listen, their energy wouldn't be on you. They haven't given you anything. They haven't been here to give you anything. They've just held back as much as you held back. Let love unfold naturally and give it time to grow. So it's again, this person knows it's like tick tock, tick tock. That's all I feel. I feel like they don't have the time for it to grow. So there's a sense of needing to rush, but they want to go slower. They want to they like this energy where it's like, but they're also getting uncomfortable because they know that more time that you're single, the more time that they've held back from you that the less likely that you're going to do this energy. You're not going to have no fling with them. You're not going to, it's going to be harder. They're going to need to put in a lot of effort. And this person, what we see here is that they never really wanted to give any effort. Yeah, it's like I feel like it's not going to work. And I'm telling you, it's like it's almost like I feel like this person waits too long to come back. It's like, and really it's because it's like it's almost like the way that they dealt with this situation, how they held back. But at that time that there's like a tower moment that they know that time has run out, they're going to have this epiphany. And this epiphany is like almost like they still have feelings for you. That they still, but I feel like they take so long to come back. Or it's like it's almost like you're done with this connection and this person comes back. Which I feel like it would have to be this way. You know why? Because if you take this person back, they would have to come in and give you quadruple the amount. And they know this because they didn't give anything. This person's used to not giving anything. So again, they thought that they were going to, use time and space to trigger you to give them. That's not what happened. Things got too intense for me, so I ran away from you. And that's what I'm saying. It's like they knew what you were doing. You weren't budging. You weren't budging, so they ghosted you and hoping that you would give to them. That's not really what happened, but you both are holding on to each other in like between your minds, like having a conversation telepathically all the time, even though you guys have not seen each other. And it's because this person still has feelings for you. It's just this connection is a real connection. It gets intense, and that's why it's again they didn't really want to look at it when they had the opportunity. It's like they have the epiphany now, but they were just in a place of wanting to have flings and wanting to have flings because hey, like they really withdraw from their emotions. They don't like relationships. They feel trapped, so they like to dominate. You were like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to be with you. I'm not going to be with you at all. I'm sad. It's over, and I wish it could be different. Yeah, like, but this person made it that way. They made it that way. And so, will they do anything to fix it? Let's ask, because I mean, sometimes they can change, but right now it's almost like you had to walk away in order for this person to actually even look at their behavior. I just want you to know that they were not going to change. They weren't going to do anything to change. And I don't know why. It's again, it's almost like they took the gamble. I feel like they always knew who you were, but they took the gamble and thinking, well, it's not going to end. The connection won't end. But I feel like from all of it, from this person acting like an ass, they ruined the connection. I'm tired of being away from you physically. I'm trying to process my fears so I can come back to you. So it is something that they think about because they are sad that it's over and they do wish that it could be different. And the more that they sit in that energy, the more that they're going to, you know, um, think about it, compare you as well. I feel like this person has dated other people. They have compared. This is not something that they would want to actually come back and apologize and be different. That's not who this person is. And understand relationships make us change. That's what they do. So it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be with that person, but this person still has that passion for you. It hasn't evolved. In order for the relationship to actually work, it would have to evolve to a place of unconditional love. This person kept it in a low vibration because they're insecure. But what they see is that they can't control that connection. They can't control what unconditional love, right? It's like I still have a connection to you. I still desire you. I still wonder what it would be like. I miss our friendship. I miss our talks. Again, now they're looking at like what you brought to the table, but before they weren't looking at anything. Yeah, like it's like it's like intense showdown. Yeah, this person like it was so intense. They wanted to be superior. You had a sharp tongue towards them. You again, whatever you said to them, you like were dead on. So I feel like you called them out and you were very accurate about this person's arrogance that they, really weren't planning on giving anything. Okay. So that's what made this person ghost you. It was something that you said. It's how they took it. But the truth of the matter is, it's like whatever you said was true. I feel like at the time that they didn't see it, that it was true, but it took them to like a while for them to contemplate on it and to do reflection on it. But it did bring them to a place of healing, whether they wanted to or not. So again, the space apart wasn't just them running around with people. I feel like, yes, they did run around with some people, but then what happened was it brought them to a place of like reflecting, taking some time alone, trying to think about like why the connection was the way that why the connection played out the way that it did. And then I think that they saw things from a different perception. Um, and what they see is again, there's still this thing of love. There's still a sense when they think about you, it elevates their mood. And they know that they should do the right thing. Because again, the witches offer romance, you know, so they do think about it. And it's because there is a spiritual connection between you and this person. Like I said, is there's a lot of spiritual power. And I feel like this person actually thinks about like, could I be in a commitment? And I feel like it's because you're the type of person. That you would let this person be who they are, if they per se. Like this person gets into relationships, they lose who they are. So there's a sense of if I come back and you forgive me for like acting this way, and you don't get caught up in it, even though I was wrong, but you'll be able to understand that it was my process that that the connection would be very strong. I feel like that's what this person thinks, which is kind of unfair, but it's like they are actually thinking about like what you said. I mean, and what you said, I think it was the way that you said it was so sharp, like sharp tongue, that it was like it was very direct. And it wasn't something that you said ghetto. It wasn't like you said it in a very respectful way. You got the point across, but it was straight to the heart. And so, this person like was taken back by it. But what they see is like, I still have a connection to you. I see the value in this connection because you were honest with me. And that's that spiritual power. I don't think that this person ever looked at anything except for like, are you attractive? Are you attractive? Are you easy? And it's like where this connection is not easy, there is attraction, but it is making this person like go deeper where they want to give romance. It's like there's a sense of like, and I think it's because you have a very high emotional IQ. So it's like, it's almost like this person is learning. They're learning. It's like they have to rewrite history almost. There's also a sense that you and this person are past life soulmates. And so, you're able to read this person. So I feel like this reminds me of the Akashic records, okay? Like we know that our Akashic records are in the library of our, like inside the library of every single person's life. And like there's a book, and that book of on your life has all your lifetimes and all your spiritual lessons and all your soulmates and so there's a sense of you and this person like have like this incredible, invincible spiritual power, like working through you because there are specific spiritual lessons that need to be learned. So it's not that this is an easy relationship. It's not an easy relationship. You both had to learn how to surrender and to learn what unconditional love actually is, where this person wasn't doing that in the beginning. They didn't want to do that. That's not the type of relationship that they wanted. And you making that person or wanting that person to be what they pretended that they were, it was you didn't notice because you were too close up to the picture. It's like, and then you had expectations like, well, now I'm expecting you, but that was this person's problem. They go into relationships doing exactly what the other people want. Again, their expectations are needed, but then they're not happy. So they go from one extreme to another. So they don't like commitments. They don't have commitments. But here it is. It's like because there's such a strong soul connection, it's like this person doesn't like um the fact that you're in separation from them, but they really had to think about, do I want this connection? And what they saw is that they really don't have like a control. And so it doesn't really logically make sense. But this person has looked at, like, has made assessment after assessment. They were seeing clearly. They looked closer. They analyzed. You believe me, they tried to talk themselves out of this connection more than one time. But it's like they've already evaluated all their options. It's almost like they needed to date all these other people. They needed to like destroy the connection. They needed to like do everything that would sabotage this connection. And then if you take them back and you're like, well, if it still works, even though after it's spiritual, well, it's really a spiritual connection. Like I can surrender. It's almost like this is where they're at, which doesn't make any logical sense, but I just feel like they're tired of going, they've evaluated their options. They already know that you're the best option for them. But can I give you what you want? You have expectations. They didn't, when you first met them, the answer was no. Now it's yes. So we have to say, what are you supposed to learn from this connection? Because you have free will to choose whether you're going to be in this connection or not. You know, the universe doesn't care. The universe cares whether or not you learn the spiritual lesson to help you evolve. Because if it's not going to be this person, it'll be the next person that comes into your life or the person that comes after. But each person that comes into your life brings you closer to you embodying your true self, who you truly are. So the first card out is love. So again, having to give yourself love. Well, this person, again, didn't give you anything. You were in a Mexican standstill the whole time, waiting again, hoping that you were going to cave and then demolish the connection. They made a shit show out of it. So obviously, you had to give yourself love. You had to reparent yourself and you had to recognize what is love. And love is not what a person says, and it's not even just the feeling, it's the actions. What do you want your love to look like? And then you giving it to yourself because this person didn't do it. Lies and secrecy. So growing up in an environment where you didn't get what you needed, maybe because there was alcoholism going on, or infidelity, where your parents were dealing with bigger issues, so they couldn't give you what you needed, but it was something that you weren't sharing with everybody. It was a secret. It was a secret, when really it's not that your parents couldn't give it, it's that they emotionally were not capable of giving it. And so I feel like that's where the lies and the secrecies came from. But then here it is. It's like being with this person, they have a lot of lies as well. Like they can't be in a relationship. They can be in a relationship. It's going to require them to change. They didn't really need to make a shit show out of this connection. They did so that they're comfortable, so that they're safe, so that they psychologically know. They don't realize that how much damage they've done to the connection. It's almost like, yeah, I realize that I completely destroyed the connection, but I know now that you are my person. Well, it's like, who cares now? Like you destroy. It's like the spirit says, well, if you've been giving yourself enough love, you're not going to have a problem with their process, because what you'll see is that says about that person and what they've gone through. Did they project shit onto me? Yes. You can say that, Scorpio. You can say, yeah, they did project stuff onto me. However, it's like that's not mine. And it's like they had to go through their process. And it's not like I was relying on them for them to emotionally take care of me, physically take care of me, psychologically take care of me, financially take care of me. No, it's like I was taking care of myself. So I don't care about their process. And the reason why is because you may need to go through a time in your life where you need separation, where this person's going to need to hold space, where you're not as transparent. We go through challenges within relationships. Abandonment, right? It's again having a parent not be there. Support, these are your inner wound childs, or just again, parent always having to work. So you didn't really have that security. So again, that fear of being with somebody that isn't there, that doesn't show up. So abandonment doesn't necessarily all the time even mean physically show up, but emotionally not show up. This person emotionally could not give you anything. That's why you had to give yourself the love. You had to show up for yourself. Again, the lies and the secrecy is that you really need something outside of you, which is this person to come in and do it for you. Hey, if they do it, is that nice? Yes, it is. It's a beautiful thing if they can do it. But them not showing up for you has nothing to do with you. It has more to do with them. And that's pretty much when you're doing it for yourself. That's what this person is seeing. They're like, well, you don't need me to come in and do it. So that makes me feel safe. It's like you don't have expectation of me. Thing, speaking your truth, your voice, setting boundaries. Feel like if you grew up in an environment where parents came in and out, or there was problems in the home, you're not going to speak. You're not going to set boundaries. You're not going to speak up for yourself. And so in this connection, I feel like you did. And were able to create the world. We create the world with our voice, right? You too can create the world with your voice. It's like by asking for what you need, by setting appropriate boundaries, by giving yourself time and attention. Again, especially if the biggest thing is when we have the abandonment wound, that we don't abandon ourselves, that we give ourselves the time and attention, which we pour love into ourselves. That's where we find our voice. That's where we can create our life. And we recondition ourselves from the lies and the secrets that we hold within ourselves, like that we can't have, or that we're not lovable, or whatever the illusion was, the lie that we believed due to the experience that we've lived in. So it's about integrating that spiritual lesson. And you do that by giving yourself love, time and attention because you were abandoned. You didn't get that love and that nurturing. So this person did the same exact thing. It's like where they should have been in your life, but they didn't know how to be in your life. So even so, I feel like you always had the gift of hope, even though you knew that maybe your parents couldn't give it to you. You knew that one day you would meet someone that would be able to, or that you wouldn't always be spiritually blocked in that area of not having people show up for you emotionally or psychologically, mentally. This is was about you realizing you don't need anyone, that you're strong, you're powerful, everything that you need is inside of you. You teach people how you want to be treated by how you treat yourself, not by yelling at them and telling them how they need to be there for you, what they need to do. Is it nice when you're with a person that's mindful? Yes. Should you say something to this person? Yes, but not when you're emotionally charged. Show this person you can do it yourself. And then later on down the line, you can say something like, I'd really like you to be there. It would mean a lot for me if you were there. Because I just feel like this person doesn't really know what to do. Part of the reason why they hold back is because they just don't know how to be in a relationship. They only know how to be physical in a relationship, but the whole intimacy and being transparent, that's not their forte. So in being with someone like that, you're always going to be triggered by the way that they abandon you. They're because they have a problem showing up emotionally. So we ask the universe, what other energy can we pull in if we choose to be with this person? Because understand this is a collective reading. Some of you are going to say yes, some of you are going to say no. It's not like you can't be with this person, but you would have to be with this person when you were emotionally like balanced, really like that you were like that you were very strong within yourself. You can have this person. Now, that doesn't mean that you would want to be with them for long periods of time, but if you're like, we really do have this very strong spiritual connection, and it could be just a past life karmic connection. Nevertheless, you want to experience it. You can, and there is a way to avoid negative karmic consequences. And that's to make sure that you don't abandon yourself, that you make sure that you give yourself enough love. You continue to create the world. You know, you listen to what your soul's calling, like you again make sure that your actions are aligned with your values. You make sure that this person's like actions are aligned with your values, so that you're in alignment with your true self, your higher self. The person will eventually drop out if they can't stay at your vibration, but you're the person that needs to walk the walk. And that could be because you grew up in an environment where you didn't get the love, the attention, the support, but you always had to abandon yourself to be the support for others. So now you're being put in a position where it's not about abandoning yourself. It's about like doing it for yourself because the person that's with you can follow suit. They will copy because they want to evolve into the higher state of consciousness. And that's because, listen, they've already extinguished all their options. They're like, that's not a good option. And this isn't a good thing. They've really did assessed you. So they're like really saying, I know I want to be with you. So they're going to be open to doing what you want them to do. But the way that you would stay safe is to be like, again, following your soul's calling. And again, making sure that you're always like balanced, your body, mind, and spirit. It's again like integrate like all facets. The moment that this person emotionally, it's that then that's when the relationship needs to be addressed. So it's not that you shouldn't have a relationship, but understand the relationship is you're going to continuously have to make sure that you find that you're balanced within yourself. So the moment that this person gets triggered or there's an issue, it needs to be worked through, which is really the right thing that you would have to do anyway. However, remember, it's like both parties have spiritual blocks. So it's not as easy done as said, is what I'm trying to get at. So we leave it off with one step at a time, is what Spirit says. If you want to be in this relationship, when this person comes back, you take it one step at a time. I see the mountains ahead and dedicate myself to taking one small step at a time. I make progress by staying focused on the present moment and current task. Thus, I regain my ease of living. So it's about you, like, again, not projecting what this person could do or even remembering how they treated you in the past. If you're going to take this person back, you actually have to forget pretty much everything that they did. You have to forgive them. It's going to require forgiveness. And hey, listen, if you have to love yourself, that's one of your inner child wounds that you have to integrate. Well, you didn't get the time and the attention, the support, the love. So forgiveness may not be the easiest thing for you. So here it is. This person comes back and they're like, I know that I really screwed this connection up. Will you give me another chance? It's like that's going to require boundaries. You can say yes, but remember, it's you don't deter from your soul's calling. You don't stop, you know, being on your path. You continue to be in the present moment and you take it one step at a time. And maybe again, relationships are difficult because both you guys get triggered and get project things from the past and worry about the future, where Spirit's saying it's only in the now. It's again, you can have a good relationship with this person. They're coming back different. They've done the work. However, it doesn't mean that they're fully clear. It means that you have to do your part in order for the karmic connection to be balanced. Because that's what karmic means. It means that you both are like have the opportunity to heal the karma. So it's an opportunity. And I feel like for some of you guys, it's yes, and some of you guys no. I'll pull just for those that say, well, I want to know, what am I going to do? Really, I feel like you're not going to know what you're going to do until that moment because it's this person. It's like you can take this person back and have boundaries. But for the purpose of the story, it's like, listen, you're gonna be like, okay, you're gonna let this person do courtship. It's like there is that connection there. But again, with boundaries, where you don't lose yourself. I'm going to leave that there. You let me know how you resonated with this one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.